Of the hospital just a bit over a week from RSV, pneumonia, and sepsis. And I'm still processing this whole thing, and that's why I'm making this video, and it's regarding sepsis and sepsis awareness. Now, I'm on my steroid taper. I'm all puffy, hungry, exhausted now as I'm coming off of it, but things will reverse. So what happened to me? My partner had to come home with what looked like a cold. Seemed very basic, and she was recovering and all was well. She had a bit of a cough. I was helping it out. It looked like it could have been a cold or allergies, but then I ended up, and I have asthma, but I felt that thing, and it hits me right here in my throat, right here in my chest. And that's always a bit of a warning sign. That's like the canary in the coal mine for me. So I was watching it. I went to urgent care. Lungs seemed clear and all good to go. Whoa. That is Friday evening. By Sunday, cough's getting a lot worse, and it's getting dry and barky, and I'm feeling pretty crappy, but I'm thinking, okay, I started on inhaled steroids. I'll be in a safer place, okay? It started on Tuesday before Friday with that thing in the chest, okay? But Friday night, I go through Sunday night, and I almost went to the ER Sunday night, but I did not. Cough was getting really bad, and I was having a hard time catching my breath, okay? Monday comes around, and Sunday night I start with the temperature. Monday comes around, temperature. By 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I had done some pattern recognition and decided I really needed to get to the ER. Why? What changed? So cough becoming definitely dry, barky. Signal 1, and that kind of short, inability to catch my breath. I was trying to push through things. Probably not too good. So then I ended up keeping an eye on temperature, and I was watching it raise 1/10 of a degree every hour at this point. And then something happened around 11 o'clock noon on that Monday. I started to feel completely calm. I'm like, whoa, yeah. So that was my signal, get to the ER, because what was happening was the fight or flight was going away, and I was getting lightheaded. It was hard. It was really not easy. So I got to the ER. I drove myself. How? With adrenaline and procedural memory. Thank goodness it was 4:30 in the afternoon, not a lot of traffic. Got down to the ER. By the time I got to the ER, they recognized sepsis in me through what's called Sears criteria, and that's systemic inflammatory response. So that's exactly what I had going on, and it was visible through my respirations. It was like 24 a minute, and it was visible with my high heart rate, and I was seeing that at home, and the temperature. Yeah. So, I was in sepsis at that point, and they got me back. They did a chest x-ray, which didn't show much. They needed to go to CT. That showed a completely different picture. So in this one ER, they put me on doxycycline and Rosefin and put me on lactated ringers, and that is what saved my life. Well, what saved my life initially was me looking at the signals and getting to that ER. If I could do something different, maybe I would have gone a little bit earlier, but the good thing is they were able to turn things around within about 24 hours or so. My vitals started to even out, but now I am stuck with the steroid taper and the pneumonia. Let me explain. So the chest x-ray and the ER, nothing. Didn't show enough. It couldn't. And the pain I was experiencing in my chest was under my breast. So they said that one is not going to show. But the doctor, he was able to call it anyway. He could hear the crackles in my left lower lobes. So, but then when they did CT, they saw ground glass opacities, diffuse. So I had it throughout the lower lobes, and I had it in the upper lobe, the right upper lobe. So I already had that inflammatory response tearing things up. What my blood work showed at the time when they brought me to the ER, when I went into the ER, was higher red blood cell count. So that showed that things were, you get those leaky veins and stuff, leaky vessels with sepsis. So you get that leaky vessel from that inflammatory response, leaky vessels, and then you get more clots, more clotting factor, PT, prothrombin time, and the like. And that's where you can get those little clots that can go throughout your body. And so they were checking me for pulmonary embolism. Yep, that was the number one thing to check me for. But what it showed was ground glass opacities. So what did we do? I spent 4 days in the hospital. Had I waited, every hour you lose 8%. I already had high liver enzymes. Creatinine was a little off. Red blood cells were high. Hemoglobin was high. SGOT was already in my blood. So it shows that that inflammatory response had already begun. But thankfully, we were able to keep it from causing that severe organ failure, which can happen. So I was in the beginning of sepsis, and now I'm going to deal with the post-sepsis. I already deal with so much with spinal cord injury and the like, so it's just going to be a matter of taking weeks, months, whatever I need to. Everything's on hold. I was looking at an elective colostomy because of my spinal cord injury. I deal with bowel and bladder problems. No fun. But now they take lower. I just got to I'll limp along and do what I need to do, and it's just the way life is. Got to be flexible, roll with the punches. I have a new autism diagnosis as of January 2026. It puts a lot of things in perspective, but also explains how I deal with things and how, I'm able to deal with things. I can kind of remove myself, be a little dissociated, and work through the puzzle. So that's what I'm doing right now, working through the puzzle. Thanks for following along.